Hey everyone, let's talk about bedtime. If you've got young kids, you know it can feel, well, like total chaos, right? It's this giant puzzle every single night. Well, today we're going to peek inside one family's playbook and see how they turn that chaos into something calm, structured, and, actually loving.
I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? Bedtime with a baby and a toddler. How on earth do you make that work? You've got an 8-month-old who needs one thing, and then you've got a 2-year-old who needs something completely different. It can feel impossible. So we're going to break it all down step by step and look at how this one family found a rhythm that really works for them. Okay, so before we dive into the how of their routine, we really need to get the who. Who are we talking about here? This is a family of 4, and they're dealing with all the classic stuff: different ages, crazy work schedules, the whole deal. So let's meet them. So check out their setup. The logistics here are everything. Mom is working a remote shift from 1 in the afternoon all the way to 9 at night. So dad gets some around 4 p.m. and he's on dinner duty. Right away, you can see how teamwork is just absolutely essential. They've got Christopher, who's 2, and little Eleanor, who's just 8 months old. It's a real balancing act.
All right, so pillar number 1 of their whole system, a super consistent start time. Every single night between 6:45 and 7 p.m., the wind down begins. It's like clockwork. And that predictability is huge, right? It sends this clear signal to everyone's brain and body that, hey, it's time to start prepping for sleep.
Now, before they even think about pajamas or storybooks, the whole house starts to change. It's like it undergoes this total transformation. And the goal is simple: create an environment that just screams calm and quiet. That way, the shift into sleep mode feels totally natural, not forced. And I mean, it's a full-on sensory shift. All the main house lights get super dim. Everyone starts talking a little softer. The night lights in the kids' rooms click on. The curtains are drawn. See what I mean? Every single cue is pointing in the exact same direction. The busy part of the day is officially done. It's time to rest. But right in the middle of all this winding down, there's this one moment that the family calls leaning into the chaos, which I love. Everyone, mom, dad, Christopher, and even baby Eleanor, they all pile into the bathroom to brush their teeth together. It's this fun, kind of wild, unifying ritual that officially kicks off the next phase of the night.
Okay, teeth are brushed. Now it's time to divide and conquer. This is where the paths split, and we get to see these two parallel but totally distinct routines play out. Each one is perfectly tailored to the very different needs of an infant and a toddler.
And this is a really key point, you guys. Their routines are definitely not one size fits all. Mom takes the lead with baby Eleanor, and her routine is quick, it's soothing, and it's all built around nursing. At the same time, Dad is handling Christopher's routine, which is way more interactive and all about connection and building his independence. So first up, let's look at baby Eleanor's routine. It is super simple and efficient. She nurses, they read a book, which, let's be real, at 8 months old means she's mostly just pointing at pictures and trying to chew on it. Then, after one last little nursing session, she's placed in her crib, they turn on a small hand mobile, do a little sign for sleep time, and that's pretty much it until her dream feed later in the evening. Okay, now let's flip over to Christopher's routine, which is a whole different ballgame. It's all about choice and interaction. First, he gets to pick his PJs. It's usually a tough choice between dinosaurs and penguins. Then, getting dressed turns into this whole interactive game with his stuffed animals, Mr. Bear and Mrs. Hippo. After a book with Dad in the rocking chair, he gets tucked into his floor bed, and they do that exact same sleep time sign. But wait, the night's not quite done for Christopher. More often than not, right after Dad leaves the room, he'll call out for one last good night with Mom. And this isn't a surprise. It's become an expected and, honestly, a really cherished part of his routine. And this final tuck-in from Mom is a really special moment. She'll come in for one last rock together in the chair, and lately, she's even started doing some positive affirmations with him, which is so sweet. After that little moment of connection, she gives him a final tuck-in, repeats the sleep time sign one last time, and then his day is officially over. So, we've seen the what, the step-by-step playbook. But now, let's talk about the why. What's the actual philosophy holding all of this together? Because it's so much more than just a checklist. It's a mindset. And that's what makes this whole system work, especially on those really tough nights. And this quote from the mom, it just captures the heart of their whole approach perfectly. Leaning into it and enjoying the snuggles while you can. It's all about acceptance, Even when a night is messy or you're feeling frustrated, the goal is just to embrace that moment. Because these days of needing snuggles, they go by so fast. So you can really break their whole philosophy down into 4 key ideas. First, there's repetition. That consistent structure gives the kids a sense of security. Then, flexibility. You have to be able to adapt to your kid's mood, right? Teamwork is an absolute must, especially with their work schedules. And then, maybe the most important one, presence. Just making that conscious choice to soak in the little moments, even when you're totally exhausted.
And look, let's be real. It's not always perfect. Of course not. The mom is super open about the pressure she feels, needing to get back to her work shift that ends at 9. It's a constant balancing act, and she admits that finding patience is a total work in progress. And honestly, that's what makes this whole story so relatable. Okay, so we've walked through this whole intricate nightly dance. What's the big takeaway here? What's the one thing we can all apply to our own chaotic evenings? When you boil it all down, it's this. Structure is absolutely vital, but that structure needs to have a soul. The best routine isn't just a to-do list you check off. It's about taking that repetition and infusing it with flexibility, with teamwork, and with a real, genuine appreciation for connecting with your kids. It's consistency, sure, but it's consistency blended with compassion.
And that kind of leaves us with one last question for you. Think about your family's bedtime. Whether it's a certain book, a special song you always sing, or some silly little game, what's the one part of your routine you just couldn't do without? Because at the end of the day, it's usually those small personal rituals that really make all the difference. Thanks so much for hanging out with us.